Hello everybody and welcome to the Real Life Genius Show. My name is Dr. Susie and today we're going to be talking about soul contracts. So, soul contracts, why are we talking about that? I know that you are following, some of you are following my channel, and I thought it was really important to begin to talk about when something is going on in your life and you can't really explain what's going on. Everybody's like, why is this going on in my life? I can't make sense. My life makes no sense. So can someone just tell me please what's going on with my life? There's something that is just not right. So when we first start off life, things just seem to happen to us randomly. As we mature, we begin to notice that some patterns start repeating themselves. Some people call it cycles, and that there might be some sort of order to our life. Many of us go through life dealing with one crisis after another. We talk in the last week we talked about the phone syndrome, in which some of my clients ask, why is always drama following me? I don't do anything to deserve this, and things just happen to me. So for those of us that go through life dealing with one crisis after another and ask ourselves, there must be some kind of deeper meaning to all of this, to all the amongst the chaos. Why, please, why will someone just tell me what's going on in my life? Now, the truth is that there is a spiritual map of our life. There is yes indeed an underlying plan, a carefully designed map that the soul is using to create your life in each and every moment. It is all matter of decoding it. Once we've done that, and I'm going to teach you in the videos that follow, this is just sort of an introductory video in which I'm going to teach you how to decode your soul contract. Your life then will make total sense. It's like using satellite navigation in a car when driving to a programmed destination. This spiritual map of your life is called the soul contract, and it will help you navigate all the experiences in your life. It will get you to your destination, which is your soul destiny or your life purpose. The soul contract has within them all the time in the form of their birth name. We're going to talk about birth name. I know that some of you are following the videos that I'm doing for the numerology course or the alchemy course. And so the Kabbalah is related to the soul contract. But we're going to explain further on how this soul contract has within them all the time in the form of your birth name. The result is that we reincarnate many lifetimes, and we tend to repeat the same experiences until the soul gets what it came for. Learning on the earth plane can be a slow process as a result, and you can often hear the effect of these statements. Life is hard and then you die. You probably have heard that before. However, it doesn't have to be that way. Most of us turn away from the hard stuff we face in life as it just seems too painful and challenging to face, and let alone overcome it at times. We start looking for an easier way. We step back and look at where we have been and why we're here in the first place. This is the big question. Now, how you have created your life the way it is. As you can see here, we have this beautiful picture of a sunset, and it says we are the creators and makers of our own destiny. With this understanding, we create only that which we want. And I know some people are going to dispute that with me. But how can we create a fulfilling life? How can we make things happen all the time the way that we want to, or the way that it will be best for us? One of the ways the creative force of the universe seeks to expand its consciousness is to separate parts of itself in the consciousness from itself. Let me explain. These parts completely forget that they're part of the creative force. It has then embodied in a denser physical form into a specific band of frequencies. If you follow the chakras course, or you have hear me talk about the chakras course or chakras before, you know what I'm talking about. Let's say that our souls incarnate in a human body in a band of frequencies called the third dimensional earth plane. This is the plane that you're now. This immediately creates a sense of separation in consciousness from God, the creative force, through the structure of the human ego. Our consciousness drops and we fall into a state of unconsciousness. We forget that we are part of all that it is. This is called the game of separation from spirit, with the spirit being defined as the part of the creative force of life that does not embody, and with soul being defined as the part of the creative force that is more individualized, that embodies from time to time. When we are in our bodies, our physical bodies, then our pure spiritual beings on higher dimensions were merely pure consciousness. We are not limited by the physical and emotional limitations of embodiment. Our consciousness is much more expanded. We feel and we know that we're connected to and are an integral part of all that it is, Great Spirit, God, universal intelligence, or Creator, whatever you want to call it. Whatever it is that you wish. In this place, everything that can be known, learned, and experienced resides as all wish. And consciousness is connected in this level of existence. The Creator is not a noun. It is not a label for some wise old man with a white beard, sitting on a throne in heaven looking down upon us. The Creator is more of a verb, a process, continuous in action, that is seeking to expand consciousness through the creation of creation, by experiences, by learning more about itself in a myriad of different ways. So, the purpose of forgetfulness, of separation in consciousness that we experience life, is through a particular set of ego personality filters. Each one of us has a different ego personality filter. We initially believe that this is all there is in our existence and proceed to fully engage with our life as it is, if it's real, with a capital R. We experience ourselves as all that is through specific lessons and experiences through our own eyes, and continue to expand the consciousness of all that it is. However, as we mature, we start to search for the true meaning of our lives, as we know and feel that there is something important that someone has not told us about our life. Some people might have this revelation early in their life. Other people might have it in their 30s or 40s or even 50s. Each one of us is walking our own unique spiritual map of life, which is created by our soul contract. We are ultimately searching for the reconnection in consciousness to the Creator, the love that it is, the higher dimensions. So, how we create a fulfilling life, no matter how challenging your life situation is. During these videos, we're gonna try to give you some of the keys to unlocking your life. It shows the soul contract shows how to simply decode your soul from your birth certificate name to reveal the spiritual path of your life, which is manifesting your individualized search for reconnection to all that it is. It reveals the primary karmic patterns, challenges that you need to overcome in order to move forward in life, your underlying goals and dreams, and sometimes latent talents that you have to overcome in karma and goals. Overall, it presents to you your soul destiny and life purpose. It shows you how to work through these issues more easily because you know what's coming and consciously discern what is your next right action in the now moment. Sometimes the best action is no action at all. We always think that we have to be doing always something continuously. The soul contract is designed to empower you to live a more fulfilling life. Reality is created at every moment. The Human Genome Project, which is one of the largest investigative projects in modern science, their primary goal was to determine the sequence of chemical base pairs that make up our DNA and identify and map all the genes, normally between 20,000 to 25,000 of the human genome. This is the hereditary information held in our DNA from both a physical and functional standpoint. Now, medical science, as you can see here, we have Bruce Lipton, which is my professor in Quantum University in Hawaii, and other leading researchers in the field of new biology who were examining the processes by which cells receive information so that our DNA is actually controlled by signals from outside the cell, including the energetic messages from our positive and negative thoughts. I'm pretty sure that you have heard a lot about positive psychology. That's not what I'm talking about here. If you want to read more about the biology of belief, you can obviously purchase The Biology of Belief by Dr. Bruce Lipton. However, I would like to take this a step further and state that the energies of the soul contract that manifest in your DNA and your entire physical and energetic bodies in the first place is how they function through life. We are pretty much a vessel that has an incarnate soul expression that has been created in an ongoing transmission from different frequencies in each aspect of the soul contract that directly controls our DNA. This occurs in very specific and highly refined ways to create the life experience that the soul desires. The soul can influence and switch DNA sequences on and off at will. You have heard of fantastic cases of people that have cancer and other diseases that recover miraculously just by the power of prayer or by just thinking that they were going to be healed and having that knowledge. You will learn that there is a total divine order put in place in your life by your soul's choice, a birth name that creates each moment of your experience. Decoding your soul contract reveals this specific, accurate, and detailed spiritual map of your life. The more you understand and align with this map, the more easily your life will flow, and the more fulfilling it becomes as you manifest much more of your soul destiny and your purpose. So here we're gonna start with a little introduction, as I don't want to do this podcast too long. But just for you to know that everything started with sound. And here I have put a picture. I used to teach astrophysics and astronomy for college students for almost 20 years. And I always taught them about the Big Bang. But we're only going to talk here about the sound of creation. The sound is creative. The first sound was the sound of God entering the great void to create this universe. As above, so below. So your birth certificate name creates your life from the moment you are conceived to the moment your physical body dies or you fully ascend. Ascending means transforming yourself into a being of light. We will know more and talk more about this later. This is where your dense physical body becomes a light body and you shift to the next dimension of existence while still retaining full memory of this physical earth experience. When we die, we normally lose these memories. Retaining these memories is the true meaning of immortality. So let me start by saying sound is where everything begins. When we talk about the soul contract, we're going to talk about the soul and your birth name. Your soul chooses your birth name prior to incarnating while still on the higher dimensions. It reviews all its past life, consulting with the karmic board of Earth along with its guides and masters, and then choose a name that will create the optimal incarnate experience for it to know, learn about, and experience itself as more of all that it is through the process that we call life. This includes the time and location of birth into the earth plane and the culture that you're born into. Also, they are your parents, as well as the entire genetic lineage you choose to be born into, and the time period in Earth's history. We will see that families normally tend to follow the same karmic patterns, the same soul groups. The soul also chooses all the primary formative, karmic, and ongoing relationships you are to engage with in a given lifetime prior to incarnation to create the experience it needs. It contracts with other souls for them to play specific roles in its life. That's why sometimes you will hear that some persons are here to stay for many years with us. Some other people we might meet and have strong connections, but only for a short time. This is why when you meet certain people in your life who seem quite familiar, it is because you have played out many roles for each other in past life incarnations. This is in order for all of you to grow in consciousness. The soul chooses. It is an experiment in consciousness. You can think of incarnate life as an experiment set in motion by your soul through its creating of you. The infinite divine intelligence of your soul grew you from a single cell at conception when it first started arriving in your body into a physical body consisting of 100 trillion cells. There is an associated set of energetic bodies that the physical body coalesces from into matter-based form. This is why it's such a miracle that babies come into the world, and it usually all works. Your soul also creates a brand new ego personality expression for it to express through. I mean, you know, if you're a mom and you have 3 kids, you know that all of them came through you, obviously, for you, but all of them have different ego personalities. Your soul also creates a brand new ego personality expression. All of this is created by the soul contract energies of the name it chose for you. Your ego personality is the soul's interface to the earthly reality, so it can experience it in a specific way. Once this has been set in motion, it cannot interfere on how you decide to live the life it has created for you. You, of course, have complete will, free will, on how to decide to engage with the life created by the soul contract. However, it is the soul's deepest desire that you align with and manifest your soul destiny, its real purpose for incarnating. A soul actually designs several different names in order to create the life it desires. From the moment of conception, it communicates these names to its mother and father, and sometimes the other family members who will be involved in the naming. The reason for having a selection of names is to give the family a semblance of choice. Human free will is at play here, and the soul wants to ensure that it gets what it came for with the life that it was created, but the name that is finally chosen. This is the reason why there is only a small selection of names that appeal to parents when naming a baby. Parents often have a good feel for some part of all the name prior to birth. But when the child is born, the soul energies, which are embodied through the pregnancy, fully enter the reality, and the parents and family can then fully feel who this newborn being is. This then enables them to finalize the name. This includes Uncle Bernie changing the spelling of the name on the way to the registry office after the parents have told him the name they want for the child. There are no accidents here in the naming process, The sum total of all the family input produces the right name for the child that the soul desires 98% of the time. Occasionally, the family gets the naming process wrong, and the soul ends up with a name which doesn't fit its true purpose on earth. You can tell these kind of people because their life just doesn't work. They seem to be out of sorts, and the soul doesn't seem to fit into the conscious ego personality construct, which the incorrect name that has been created. This is a problem with a lot of people that have been adopted or orphaned and changed the name later in life. These people need their name optimized, again, to correct this problem. This can be undertaken by an experienced soul contract reading practitioner to realign them to the soul's true energies in order to get their lives back on track. Now let's talk about, we talk about our name and our conception. Let's talk about our existing dimensions. How many dimensions that we can exist, that we're existing. So let me share with you a model for the dimensions we will be using during this course. There are normally mathematically are 13 dimensions. However, in this model, we're going to choose only 12 that comes from the Kabbalah. And we're concerned with the third to the sixth dimensions. The third dimensional earth plane, where you find yourself in the physical body, is where a major part of our consciousness, which is a stretch over all dimensions, is focused at this time. You are made up of densified light, a spirit that has lowered its vibrations sufficiently to coalesce into matter-based physical form. The fourth dimension, which is the next vibrational level up from the third dimension, is called the astral plane. This is where souls go when they leave the physical body. Here, thoughts, emotions, and feelings manifest much more quickly into reality. The game of separation from the spirit is played out in the third and fourth dimensions, as we have polarity, consciousness here, light versus dark, good versus evil. This is where we experience ourselves being separated from the spirit in consciousness. The fifth dimension is where you feel connected to all that it is, to all life. You're aware that you're a multidimensional being stretched out over all dimensions of existence. The sixth dimension holds the higher dimensional templates for your human DNA. This is where consciousness creates through thought. So, what is reality? How you actually are creating this reality? Albert Einstein said, reality is merely an illusion, albeit a very persistent one. The energies of the birth name in the form of the soul's contract are stored in the physical body and energetic bodies within a substance called karmic matrix. This is a gray cobweb-like substance that is present on the fourth, fifth, and sixth dimensional parts of our being. The third dimensional earthly reality we live is not like some static box which we incarnate into and go about the process of life separate from reality. As the karmic matrix radiates your soul contract, programming outward from your physical and energetic bodies, the earthly reality, which is completely fluid, rearranges around whatever program or programs you are transmitting. This is the actual mechanism of the law of attraction that you must have heard about, where like attracts like. This is where you draw yourself whatever is resonant in your conscious and mainly unconscious feelings and thoughts. Now that you're aware of that reality and that it is rearranging around the sound of your birth name, you can focus on your feelings and thoughts and manifesting what you truly desire in life. However, what seems to happen in practice is that as you focus on what you desire, you initially create the opposite of this. This is often puzzling to people who are just starting to consciously use the law of attraction and can lead them to say, the law of attraction doesn't work. Now let's talk about the law of opposites. The reason that the law of attraction doesn't appear to work initially is that there is a second law called the law of opposites that activates at the same time as you start to use the law of attraction. The purpose of the law of opposites is not to stop you from getting what you desire in life. Its job is to create a negative constructing context, the opposite of what you say you desire, so you can get really clear on what you wish to create and experience. Remember, you wouldn't know what you want if you didn't have what you don't want. The door is not closed to our true desires, which is how many interpret situations in their life when they're not aware that the law of opposites has been activated. The door is actually open. All you need to do is to keep focusing on your now refined desire of what you wish to create and walk through the door, and it will eventually manifest for you. I will give you an example of this. For example, let's say that I wanted to buy a second-hand car. I had decided upon the make, the model, and the maximum price I was prepared to pay. I also wanted it to be in top condition. I found one on the internet that appeared to fit the bill and arranged to view it. It turned out to have been trashed by its previous owner. I was crestfallen and thought to myself that I must have seriously messed up using the law of attraction to manifest my perfect car. Then I remembered the law of opposites. Rather than going deeper into a spiral of despair, you pull yourself out and says to yourself, I'm getting the exact opposite of what I desire. The law of opposites is creating this. Therefore, I must be really close to getting the perfect car in very good condition that I do desire. Then you can maintain your focus. For example, like the example I just told you on the perfect car, go to the internet again and find another car that matches requirements. You see, you have to manage to manifest what you want when you maintain the focus on your feelings and thoughts of what you desire. If you get caught in the trap of focusing on what you don't want to, then I will get more of the same stuff happening, which is what most people do unknowingly through the entire life. Now, let's take a much bigger context for our lives. We're gonna talk about the programming on our soul's contract, or within our soul contract, that is initially creating everything in your life, which is the opposite of what you are to become while incarnated here on earth. The key to a fulfilling life through the manifestation of your soul, destiny, or life purpose, whatever you want to call it, is to become conscious of this important way in which earthly reality works. That's why many said that we're living in an illusion or in a virtual universe, in a different created virtual reality universe, pretty much. Now you understand their point. Once you understand the secret, you can then consciously work to transmute this deep underlying unconscious programming in your soul contract that is generating this undesired negative context in your life. As you do this, you will start to gradually manifest more of what you truly desire. The law of opposites is explored in an excellent book by Neil Donald Walsh, which is called Happier Than God, and you can find that information if you want to. Your soul contract initially creates a specific subjective reality for you. This is the opposite of what you truly desire, and is coming from within you and not being done to you in any way, shape, or form. Although your ego may perceive it this way, a lot of people think everything happens to me. It is important not to fall into this trap of unconsciousness. Otherwise, the ego will keep you in a place of suffering, which is its primary modus operandi. For example, if a soul has decided prior to incarnation that it wishes to re-experience itself as the part of all that it is, and coming back into its power, it will initially program a life of disempowerment into the soul contract. This is where it manifests people and situations around it that create the experience of feeling like a victim. The purpose of this is not for the ego personality expression of the soul, which is a brand new construct in each lifetime, to stay in the place of being a victim. It is actually the opportunity for it to decide not to participate in this victim consciousness reality anymore. It can then move towards a place of empowerment of itself and others as part of the soul's mission here on earth. Another example is a soul that wishes to become a good communicator and teacher. It will initially program in shyness and unworthiness within the ego personality to be eventually overcome so it can express its many lifetimes of great wisdom from the very depths of its being. A soul may not visit Earth very often, but has decided to incarnate to experience the heavily polarized human emotions on Earth, such as joy and pain, depression and ecstasy, anger and serenity. Initially, it might not embody fully, so that the ego personality that is not very present or grounded in the body yet can work. The result of this is that if you cannot feel emotions very well, it is not emotionally present with people and cannot relate well to the reality as a result. The purpose of this initial negative context is for the soul to fully embody and learn to navigate the emotional soup of the earth plane, to be able to learn to properly connect and relate to people and society. We say that karma is your greatest friend and gift. Obviously, not so much for this guy on the picture, but within the primary karmic challenges you face in your life, lie the gifts you are to bring into the world. You probably did not want to hear that. Most people turn away from the hard stuff that they manifest in their life through unconscious behaviors such as numbing out, addictions, and general avoidance of these challenges. This is caused by a fear generated in the ego when it comes to facing them. For your life to happen, these karmic challenges which have been sabotaging your life need to be accessed at a deep level. They need consciousness to be brought to them, and they need to be felt. Let me say that again. You need to feel your challenges. You need to feel the fear of the challenges. The fear within the ego mind needs to be overcome as it's blocking you from feeling and healing your karmic challenges. Fear is only ever in the mind. It is never outside of you. For as you are an integral part of all that it is, everything outside you, which is the ego, can create a fear around, including people, things, and situations, is actually only part of you. It is only the ego's fear itself that creates a so-called threat to you, not the perceived external threat itself. Now you can overcome your ego-based fears by bringing consciousness to them. Let's talk about fear and negative emotions. Your ego is attached to suffering. Buddha said that. The important thing to understand here is that your ego is programmed to stay attached to the suffering of the human condition and to stay locked into this negative context of your soul contract for your entire life. Once you decode your soul contract, the full extent of the negative context the soul has programmed into your ego structure will become apparent. While this might feel daunting initially, it does provide a great opportunity to take a good look at the spiritual map of your life that has just been revealed to you. I mean, think about it. Wouldn't you act differently if you actually knew in 5 years or 10 years what was going to happen to you? If you knew some of your future? Would you be reacting to the present the same way? It is time to focus on what you truly desire and break the power of the spell of suffering the ego has held over you up to this point in your life. Now that you realize that you have been creating everything in your life, both the undesirable and desirable elements, you can at least take full charge of what happens next by owning all of it. The ego places its primary focus on all the undesirable things in your life that you wish will go away, but for some unknown reason do not. This is because of the enormous judgment the ego has placed upon them and the associated bad feelings that go with it. It is important to accept all things in your life exactly as they are, to let go of the judgment and bad feelings, for it is only then when you can start to release the hold they have on you. Then you can start to manifest your life the way that you desire, based on focusing on the things that you do want to turn out for you, rather than the things that you don't. Now, why are you in this course? And we're going to talk a little bit about that. Obviously, you have been asking questions about your life because somehow your soul is manifesting to watch this video right now. It wants you to discover something important, which is perfect for you to know right now, at this moment. There are no accidents in life. You did not find this video by accident. This is a moment of synchronicity for you, as the truth of your life is revealed in these pages. So, if you pick up the tools that the soul contract gives you, we can navigate together through the negative context of your life much more easily. These tools will enable you to overcome the challenges you face more easily, help you manifest your dreams, and align you much more to your soul destiny and life purpose. This is how you can create a much more fulfilling life. So, we're going to start talking about the soul contract decoding and the decoding process. And today we're only gonna go over through a few minutes because this video is getting long already now. This podcast is getting long already and I don't wanna keep you long. But in the next video, we're gonna start the soul decoding process. We're gonna begin talking about the symbol of the Star of David, which you can see here, which consists of two large triangles. And we're gonna spend some time going through the different ways in which, and you can see it here, it has the downward pointing one represents the physical side of life. We spend the first 5 cycles of 7 years, or 35 years in total, which is where the 7-year age idea comes from. We learn to embody and ground here on earth through gaining conditioned responses as a baby, education, relationships, establishing yourself in a career, setting up a home, basically getting up and running. Because of the acceleration of the raising of human consciousness that has been happening lately and that's occurring now, this process has been greatly accelerated. And you might notice this in some of our millennials. Some people also call them indigo children. People are awakening and moving through this initial physical triangle much faster and at a much younger age. I see it myself on my 8-year-old, for example. The large upward pointing triangle represents the spiritual side of life, the real purpose of why the soul has incarnated in the first place. It contains the aspects of the soul contract the soul wishes to deliver as part of its service here on earth. We generally start the transition from the large downward pointing physical triangle to the large upward pointing spiritual triangle around the 6th cycle of 7 years, between the ages of 35 to 42 years. Some people might call this a midlife crisis. This is where everything in your life might turn upside down. You question all your values and start to seek the real meaning and purpose of your life And nothing is going to stop you from manifesting that purpose. Some people change careers, relationships, location, and even countries in this search for a deeper purpose they came to Earth to manifest. Once you're in the 7th cycle of life, from 42 years onward, you will feel a strong drive to really get on with your life and to fully manifest your life purpose. However, the spiritual triangle aspects can only be delivered if a firm physical foundation with the large downward pointing triangle has been established, as they will build upon this foundation. This is just the beginning of the Star of David. In the next video, we are going to explain all the different parts of the 2 triangles, the Star of David, and all the numbers 3 to 6. And then we'll start making more videos and explaining the different symbols and making an example. I'm going to use my name, for example, as an example to so you can learn how to do your own soul contract. This might be a succession of videos, it might be 10, 15 videos on this series, but we will get there. I hope that the first video at least pique your curiosity and you want to learn about the soul contract. If you're interested in me doing your soul contract, please let me know. Send your thoughts after the video and subscribe to my channel. I do appreciate your time, and I see you on the next video related to your soul contract, when we're gonna be discovering our spiritual map and the different parts of the Star of David. Thank you. Have a great day.